All right. So can you upload the presentation of Anne, please?
Love will lead the way for us, like a guiding star. I'll be there for you if you should need me. You don't have to change a thing. I love you just the way you are. So come with me and share the view. I'll help you see forever too. Hold me now, touch me now. I don't want to live without you. Nothing's gonna change my love for you. You ought to know by now how much I love you. One thing you can be sure of, I'll never ask for more than your love. Nothing's gonna change my love for you.
All right, good afternoon. We're going to start a session where we invited some alumni from the IUPWARE program, the Master in Water Resources Engineering that is organized by the KU Leuven and the VUB. I'm Anne van Grinsven from the VUB, and Jan Diels from KU Leuven is also here, and together we are leading the ICP Connect program that is funded by VLIR, IUS, so the collaborations, inter-university collaborations in Flanders with the South, the Global South. So we will go over 5 presentations from alumni that are sharing a bit their career after graduation. But I will go quickly through some slides reflecting what has been happening within the ICP Connect projects that we are running. So maybe we can go to the next slide, please. I have to do it myself. Yeah. So IUPWARE originated from programs that were running at the VUB and at KU Leuven already from the 80s, and they joined forces at a certain moment as a joint inter-university program. And by now we have more than 1,000 graduations, and these are coming from more than 100 different countries. So it's actually really a very international program. And here on this picture, you can see Dr. Helen Aluku with the Queen of Belgium. Yeah? So it's it's quite an important event together with Professor Marijke Huismans from the VUB. It also shows how important these programs are also for Belgium. And with the ICP Connect, which started in 2017, we had more emphasis on collaborating with the South, with partners in the South, and you can see that so far we have been doing quite well with programs in Africa, collaborations in Africa, or collaborations in Latin America, and also collaborations, well, mainly in these countries. We are also collaborating with Gaza. But we were collaborating at different levels, at jointly organizing integrated projects and alumni events from time to time, but also important is that we have now also collaboration within the curriculum with the University of Cape Town in South Africa. And that is also important, and we hope to grow also more in that directions, in these directions. All right. So we kicked off the ICP Connect project with an alumni event in Belgium, where we gathered 150 alumni, and we actually had the event taking place in the Atomium in Belgium, so it's quite a monument, where we also wanted to highlight that this first alumni event is really a milestone for further collaboration. So it was also for us a very important moment to go in more alumni working and more international collaborations. And we also had our first integrated project organized in Tanzania together with Sokoine University of Agriculture and Nelson Mandela African Institution for Science and Technology. So that was also the first time, and there are quite a number of alumni here that graduated before 2017 and that never experienced the opportunity to go for a field trip actually in a foreign country. So work together on water problems in the reality, because this course is bringing everything we learn in courses to reality and also brings all the challenges to life. So we continued with alumni meetings, and so we had a second one in 2018 in Ecuador, which was jointly organized with our second integrated project together with the University of Cuenca. And we kept also better tracking alumni and collaborating. So we spotted several alumni also, for instance, during the International SWOT conference that we organized at the VUB. So the collaborations are also seen in several other international meetings. On Facebook we can still see some of these gatherings and connections happening, very often unexpected. But as a IUPWARE alumnus, you're not alone, you're with more than 1,000 others. And it's quite likely that you meet with other IUPWARE alumni during one of the international water events that you may attend in the future. We had another alumni meeting and integrated project again in Tanzania, together also with the University Nelson Mandela African Institution of Science and Technology. At their campus, we organized an integrated project and alumni event, and some of you probably were there. We also had 3 refresher courses. You can see Professor Jan Diendels in action to teach how to use Internet of Things technologies. The next one, 2020, was in Arbaminj, and that one was really already exciting because just before returning home, COVID started. So luckily it could take place, but also very luckily we could bring everybody home before airports were closing. And then 21, there is no picture. We had an integrated project on the Ecuadorian case study, but it was really organized, not even on campus, it was online organized as we were all spending our time home. So that's another batch, unfortunately, of students that were not able to join integrated projects abroad. But in 2022, luckily, Professor Anne Gobert was able to convince the KU Leuven that she had a very safe plan to travel with the students to Ecuador. And there were, of course, a lot of regulations on how to keep it safe. So we have plenty of projects, but they're all with masks. So we have no real pictures with the full faces of the participants. We also organized in 23 the first drought symposium at the VUB, and we also invited and welcomed several alumni during that event. So it's also a connection of symposia, water events, and networking, and including the alumni network in these activities. And then in 2023 and 2024, we had the opportunity to travel again to Ecuador to continue in the collaboration with the University of Cuenca. Here you see one picture, and I think, yeah, there's the other one for 2024. So that was another nice opportunity for many to go to and enjoy working on case studies in Ecuador. And I think now we are, ta-da, here in Uganda. And I think it was again a very challenging, but I hope also interesting integrated projects. I heard very nice stories of how the students from the IUPWARE program were working very closely and learning a lot from the students from Kyambogo University. I think this is really a big success, and I'm very happy for everybody who was there for the hard work and for still working on it, of course. And we are looking forward to read what has been processed, what has been learned, but also what type of results you will bring out of this event. And we also have, of course, the alumni event right now here. And I'm very glad that we will have a couple of presentations from our alumni that came from different partner countries. But let me also invite Professor Charles for welcoming. Charles, can you come over, please? Because it has been really a pleasure to be here. We are very supported, and we really thank the university for hosting us so well and for being with us in the field. And this is also, again, very important. It's the first time we had an integrated project in Uganda, but I really hope it will not be the last time, but that there will be many more collaborations following. Thank you. And also the whole staff that supported, and also all the students that attended and contributed and shared their knowledge with our students. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon to you all. I want to ensure the protocol is observed. I think it has been a very great opportunity for us to host the IUPWARE alumni, and this being the first of its kind. Of course, I know it shouldn't be the last. It will continue because we can count on this university to always ensure it continues. I think we did not prepare 100% because of the nature of our programs, which in the meantime we are revising so that we have a component of integrated project as part of it. And we have done that so that in the next time this should be done, we are going to ensure there's a very nice blend between the IUPWARE program and the Master of Science and Sanitation Engineering, that Master of Science, Water and Sanitation Engineering that we have here. And I must be grateful to our professors, Professor Anne, there is also Professor Kobin, Professor Yan, and the other staff of IUPWARE for recognizing that this should be done here in Uganda. And this university is very honored to welcome you and give you the indication that we are willing to host even next year if you give us the chance. But of course, if that's not possible a year after, we can always come back. I know, of course, it is very difficult, even for the students. Some of them are coming here for the first time, and they look to be requesting for more time to work on their things they have collected in the field, the data. But of course, that's the nature of the IUPWARE. You have a lot of pressure, but of course you come out. So I'm very grateful for the VUB always taking the lead in these integrated projects. Of course, some of us, when we see students moving to other countries, we envy them, because by our time, this is not how enjoyable the IUPWARE program was. We were all stuck in Belgium, and then you just come back. But I think for you, some of you go to Ecuador, some of you go to Spain, and then now here in Uganda. Last time it was in Tanzania. This has to move on, except for the funding that I'm made to know is having a bit of a challenge, and we have to brainstorm. Maybe that will be on Wednesday to see how this continues, because so many organizations have benefited from IUPWARE program. In Uganda specifically, we have the Ministry of Water and Environment that year in, year out, they give students, they have their workers going to be students of IUPWARE. But also in the universities here, we have so many staff. In the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering alone, we could be more than 10. And so if there is any institution that has benefited, it should be Kyambogo University ranking top in the benefit of, who are benefiting from this program. So colleagues, feel at home. We are here to support until the opportunity, the event will be over. Any help or support you need, let us know. But in any case, also feel at home. Uganda is a very beautiful country. Some of you may want to stay longer, but also still we are willing, if time can allow, so that you enjoy your stay here. But in any case, also for the staff, we are not limited to only this IUPWARE collaboration. We could coin something outside this IUPWARE collaboration that can also allow us still interact and ensure continuity of this partnership or collaboration for the benefit of both institutions. I think we can ensure the presentations are going on. This is just a remark to welcome all of you to feel at home and continue with these functions until time will come. Then we can maybe take opportunity to go back to the respective places. Otherwise, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So I'm now inviting Dr. Nkwasa to come over. Albert, if you're ready. And if someone can upload your presentation. What was it called?
I don't remember, but I think it's called like IUPWARE chat, something like that.
So if there
I
is...
sent you an email from Albert. Can you access it? It still sounds weird calling me doctor. I think he signaled that it's okay, but maybe it takes a while.
Right. Maybe you can start. When did you graduate?
First, even like inviting me to give a talk, I really don't know what to say, because I don't think I've had a very eventful career or interesting, but we'll see what I'll chat. I graduated in 2019 for IUPWARE. Yeah, then continued my journey with a PhD, and now still kind of in that field. Maybe I should go check.
It's coming.
Very strange. So, and what are we supposed to share? Just for curiosity. What are we supposed to share?
It's a freestyle. I would say whatever you experience after graduation that you would like to share. There are quite a number that are soon graduating, and they have to find their ways, so it's maybe also inspiring to see what path that some of the graduates, and you're of course one direction, and there will be other directions.
Assuming our paths are inspiring, right?
Hopefully.
I don't know if everything is okay up there.
They have it, just trying to make sure.
Okay.
Technology.
When did IUPWARE start? Which year? I don't know if anybody knows.
Jan, do you know when did IUPWARE start?
1984. Okay. Did any of the professors do IUPWARE? Only.
Professor Anekpa, you did? You followed IUPWARE? Yeah, it's one of the programs that grew into IUPWARE, so yes, she's counted as an alumni. She will be in our list.
Okay. Finally, yeah. So, thanks, Anna. Yeah, I'll talk about, I don't know, career overview. I didn't even know what to call it. I said it's still developing, and some interests that I work with at the moment. I'm Albert Nkwasa. I will talk about where I'm based. I'm based at the International Institute of Applied System Analysis in Vienna, Austria. And this is an international research institute that advances system analysis and research methods to identify solutions to these global change problems. And personally, I'm based in the water and security group, and we do mostly hydrological and water quality modeling at multiple scales. Personally, I'm more at large scale, so mostly regional to global water quality modeling. And if I'm to talk about my career trajectory, IUPWARE is somewhere in there from 2017. I started working from Uganda here, my bachelor's in 2010 to 2014, then worked briefly with the Ministry of Water, and then went to Belgium, where I actually didn't know they don't speak English as the first language, and then did IUPWARE for 2 years, and then Anne convinced me to do a PhD. She offered me a grace of 6 months to think about it, which was dope. And then I did my PhD with Anne, looking at regional to global water quality modeling during also the COVID era for most of the time. And then after my PhD, I moved to ESA, where I'm based from last year till present. So I didn't have any IUPWARE photos. I got these photos from Melinda. I'll have to acknowledge that. And as you can see, the other people that are in this room in those photos, there is Joseph Waso, who is a manager here in Uganda. And as you can see, he's holding a drink, which he still does till today. And then there is Melinda as well, who gave me those photos. And I don't remember where we're coming from that night, but probably from like a bar or something like that. And our IUPWARE time was we were not so many. I think we were about like 15, so we were a very small class, but we had a dope time. And then we did our integrated project in Arusha, in Tanzania, And as you can see, there are like a few faces in there that are also in this room. Helen, I think, is in there somewhere. Anne and the Elder are also in there somewhere. Yandil is hiding behind there somewhere as well. And I don't remember. I think that's it. Yeah, and that was it. It was I would say 50% fun because it felt like a holiday. When a beautiful cottage, a beautiful place, but then we also really worked very hard. That I must add that. And so I will talk about my research interests. Personally, I'm mostly interested in water quality, specifically nutrients. So that is like total nitrogen, total phosphorus, and a little bit of also sediments and soil erosion. So some of the works that I've been involved in, we've been looking at how to assess its progress towards like ambient water quality. This is measured using SDG indicator 6.3.2, and which looks at how much progress we're making towards the target 6.3 for the SDG. But when we looked at this UN report recently, we noticed that some things that popped up were that no much repeated values were reported for like the African continent. And also mostly like poor countries, so in the global south had less data to calculate this indicator. But then also these nutrients that I'm mostly work with, the nitrogen and phosphorus really popped out as one of the targets that were not being met for most countries globally. So we worked on this with Anne and some other colleagues and assessed this progress for Africa using by setting up this continental water quality model, and we noticed that of course a third of the African continent does not meet the targets set to achieve this SDG target. But then also we identified that 67% there is still an opportunity for us to overcome these shortcuts of polluting the water resources in Africa. Then some other works that we've been involved in is using also remote sensing to sort of evaluate our water quality models, especially for areas that are data scarce. And here we use a lake in Ethiopia called the Lake Tana Basin, and then we extract these remote sensing data sets for lake turbidity, and we sort of create this relationship between lake turbidity and river sediment loading, and see if our models can be able to reproduce this temporal or spatial variabilities according to the sediment loading vis-a-vis the remote sensing turbidity. And also currently at IASA, the work that I'm doing is coupling these water quality models from the river system into the lake system, so that we can see the contribution of these loadings from the river systems into the lake, and then we see how this lake turbidity, trophic state index, and is influenced by loading from sediments and rivers and nutrients from the river system into the lake ecosystems. I think it's pretty cool, but still very challenging. Also, we're looking at I don't know if some of you are familiar with this common agriculture policy in Europe. There's a project called Act for CAP, and what we're trying to see is these policies that are being set for agricultural practices, if they will be able to have a subsequent impact on the water security, specifically water quality. And in this way, we're coupling this water quality model with different agricultural and land use models to sort of assess that impact. And pretty cool, we've also set up a global water quality model for nutrients. This is currently under review, and it's still a work in progress, but these are initial results. So we could see that we could sort of like capture most of the temporal patterns, as well as spatially for the nutrients, for nitrogen and phosphorus, vis-a-vis the other existing global nutrient models. So it's still a work in progress. There's still so many areas for improvement, but the work is already out there, and we'll continue working on that. So if you're working on water quality and super interested in working at a global scale, please reach out. We will see what we can do. And I think that is pretty much. Yeah, so I didn't know how best to sort of like fit it within the UPWARE, so that's why I sort of like highlighted a few works that I'm currently engaged in. But yeah, if you're interested, we also have so many opportunities at IASA. This, for example, there's a young summer school program that happens every year, where you can come and spend 3 months at IASA and work with one of the researchers there. And so please also reach out if you're interested in something like that. And also, if you're interested in collaborating on some research, we can also have a research stay there. We can organize something like that. So feel free to reach out. Otherwise, yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Then we move to the next. I think if you have questions, then reach out at a certain moment. But let's invite you, Dr. Helen Aluku. If you have, do you know how you named this? Helen?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. What's up with the bottles? All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Helen, and just like Albert, the content of the presentation was really not quite sure for me as well, but I will just take you through a few slides of who I am until now. So the trajectory, if you followed what Albert presented from whichever year in Makerere up to the Ministry of Water and Environment, and then he went to the master's program of IUPWARE, and then that's where we split in the content of the PhD and the timing. So I did my IUPWARE and completed it in 2015, before Albert, of course. And then I jumped to the Ministry of Water and Environment. So I did the interview first, and then went for the IUPWARE and got the job when I was in my first year. So I had the right to claim my job when I came back. So I claimed my job, and in my job I was in the Department of Rural Water Sanitation, and I was mostly dealing with feasibility of gravity flow schemes in the northern region with the project with World Bank. Unfortunately, we were not able to locate the best site for this project, so the northern part didn't get the project, but Melinda has worked a lot on this gravity flow schemes in Manafwa or something like that. Yes, so other regions benefited because it was feasible for them. So then I jumped into the PhD. My PhD was also still funded by VLIR. It was a team's project of Smart 80 with 3 PhDs. So I was one of the PhDs under the Smart 80 project, and worked in the Makanya catchment in Tanzania. It is a small catchment compared to what you went through last week. So this is just a 320 square kilometer catchment, but with very diverse landscape and also agricultural practices in there. So the area of Makanya is one of those that falls under very scarce, water scarce areas, and yet farmers want to do agriculture. So they have a way, more like a solution to the problem, where they have the Ndiva, the microdams, but also sometimes you have situations where you have water losses. We also saw this in the case of the Malaba catchment, where you have trenches that are not lined for irrigation. So they do that as well. And then they have several agricultural best management practices and also bad management practices. So just with the existing good management practices, the idea was how can farmers be able to adopt the good management practices with the cost-benefit analysis of the different interventions, with an intervention of the policymakers and stakeholders into the space, and also looking at the logic that farmers have in that line. So basically, as I summarize, that is the whole PhD. I was very lucky and very unlucky to have a PhD during COVID, so I could only have my defense online, so I didn't have an opportunity to talk like this. But yeah, so I completed my PhD on 5th of January 2021, right after the new year. And then when I came back, I got an opportunity to work with Kyambogo University as a part-time lecturer. And since 2021 up to date, I still work with Kyambogo as a part-time lecturer. However, I also got a job as an associate director of postgraduate studies and research in KIU. Now, that was like a private institution, and you have like contracts, and nobody wants to be on contract because you never know tomorrow. So as I was on contract, I was offered a postdoc by Professor Ann. Meanwhile, I maybe forgot to tell you that my PhD supervision was by Professor Ann. Jan Diels was part of my jury, and other professors from Elgar was also part of my jury, and other professors from Tanzania. So Ann offered me a postdoc with the project, IUC project in JUST. But the issue of women in STEM happened, and I had to leave in like 6 months to come back home. Yeah, that was it. So then when I came back home, I still had my job anyway because I took it as a study leave postdoc. So when I came back, I opted to have a more permanent job with the government. So when I applied for a position of a lecturer in Soroti University, I was granted, so I passed the interview. And now I work on permanent basis as a lecturer in the Department of Civil, Structural and Environmental Engineering of Soroti University. At the moment, I'm also acting as the head of department of that civil engineering department in Soroti University. So when you're in academia, it's not that you just do research. You need funding for research. And sometimes the funding that you get for research determines your research pathways. So we have an Erasmus Plus project for 3 years, a project that has been running in the EU for like about 10 years, and now we are at the point of rolling it to the other continents as well. And that's when we are benefiting with about 9 countries, including Belgium, with Odyssey, including Greece, with Hellenic Mediterranean University. We have a university in Portugal, Mozambique, Nigeria, Uganda, and Germany. So it's a multinational, multidisciplinary project, but we work with students. So we get real life problems from farmers or industry, and then we work with students to provide real life solution to these problems. So for the past year, we had challenge with agricultural management of waste in a farm in Nigeria. So students worked around with the professors who are experts in this field, and also myself, and they produced a research of biochar as a solution to this. So it's still in process of being written to be published, so I wouldn't show everything, but it's about biochar. But also they are building a community seed bank and also predicting yield for farmers in Mozambique in a state called Tete. So we work with students to do research for us as we supervise them. It's one way that I'm working right now. But also I have sent in some proposals with colleagues. We have sent in a proposal for IUCC and under development of smart waste management systems for urban sustainability. So if you moved around in the country, you've understood how badly we manage our waste. And it's not like as a water resources engineer, you cannot come in to help with the systems of AI or ML or any other mushrooming ways of solving problems. But also, together with ELGA, we submitted a digit water proposal for the second time. We hope that we can get that. It's also a very good proposal that we submitted, and many others that we are still building up to submit and continue our research. So, yeah, that's it. I like this picture because it represents 3 continents in 3 girls of IUPWARE. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you. So I'm John Okedi. I'm Ugandan, but currently working at the University of Cape Town in South Africa. And I'll be talking about, I'll just give an overview of my career and my research interests. So the table of the contents for my presentation, I'll just briefly speak about my education. Then I'll take you down memory lane with a few photos. Then my PhD work and current work at the University of Cape Town, my affiliation, professional networks, and some selected research projects. So I completed a bachelor's degree in civil engineering in 2005 at Makerere. Then I went over, I worked for about 5 years, worked for the Ministry of Water, worked for National Water and Sewage Corporation, I worked for an NGO as well. So various sectors in the water sector. Then I went over to Belgium in 2010, I completed in 2012. Then I came back, worked for consulting here in Uganda, Ediso Consulting. Then I moved to start my PhD at the University of Cape Town. The PhD was sponsored by the Carnegie Foundation of New York. And the requirement for that PhD was that I teach, while previously Carnegie Foundation would take PhDs to the US. When the people would reach US, they would not come back, because the idea was to train professors for Africa. But when they would train them in the US, they would not come to Africa. So we're one of the first few who didn't make it to the United States. They trained us here in Africa to make sure we stay here, which I think was a good idea. And I completed my PhD in 2018, and I stayed at the University of Cape Town as a senior lecturer. So down memory lane, the top photo there is, let's walk. All right, the top photo, top left, that's me presenting my final thesis in 2012, sometime in June. Then the photo on the top right, that's us after our presentation, celebrating a bit after the presentation. And I could say the people sitting on that table, all of us have a PhD, except maybe Peter, who's doing his PhD right now. So that's, I think, a great milestone for the cohort of 2012. So we didn't only study, we drank a bit of beer as well. You can see in the bottom left photo, not just, also played soccer in kind of Leuven, but also we traveled a bit as a group during that cohort. And the photo to the left, that's us experiencing our first winter ever, but we were still smiling, you could see. But one of our colleagues, Anna, it was difficult to pull a smile out of her. It was the coldest day of our lives. But then on the left, that summer is back, and we're moving together. I can see many more smiles in the photo on the right. Then an integrated project for us was in Nice, France, and that's us on the left arriving in Nice as like superstars. And the one in the middle there, we had time to have dinner with Professor Anne. She joined us that day for dinner. But it was not only eating. I can see on the right there, we're busy modeling flags in Nice, and that's my team. The bottom left, it was just me from UPWARE, because it was Hydro Europe. There were various students from other countries in Europe, in Germany, in Spain, and all those places. And the photo to the bottom right, that's one of my favorite photos ever taken. You can see Monaco in the background, but us in the far, they are making it look nice. Then I did my PhD, as I mentioned, sponsored by the Carnegie Scholarship Foundation. There were 5 of us who were selected that year in 2014. The one from Nigeria, one from Rwanda, one from Kenya, and from Zimbabwe. And those are our professors standing with us there for a memorable photo. And that's me graduating with my PhD in 2018 with my lovely wife. So current work, I teach undergraduate programs. So I teach hydrology and also urban water services. Then I also supervise undergraduate projects. And for the postgraduate program, I teach urban drainage, modeling in swim, and also have a groundwater program that I also contribute. I don't teach entirely, but I contribute to it. Then I do spatial IoT remote sensing type of course, so I do that as well. Postgraduate supervision, I'm very active there. Currently I have 4 PhD students that I'm supervising. I've graduated 2. For master students, I was trying to count how many there are since I started teaching, supervising, and I could reach 40, but there are probably more. Currently I have 12, and I could count 18 that have graduated. But I'm also the director of the undergraduate program at University of Cape Town. In terms of professional affiliation, I'm quite active in the International Water Association, and I'm a member of the Joint Committee of Urban Drainage, and that's us in 2019 in Nice, in Lyon, France, our meeting at that conference. But I'm also active as a professional engineer in South Africa, registered with the Engineering Council of South Africa, SAICI, that's the South African Institution of Civil Engineers, where I'm a committee member of the Water Division, Water Institute of South Africa. I'm active in the modeling and data group. Then I still keep relationships with the Institution of Professional Engineers in Uganda. So, some selected projects. So the first project is an interesting one because it was something that came out of an alumni event in 2019 from Tanzania. After the training from Jan Deals, he inspired some of us, and we wrote a project that was funded by Brill, a 2-year project. The few of us were involved, VUBK Leuven, Cuenca, we had Veronica from Cuenca, Abamich in Ethiopia, Mkwana, and myself in University of Cape Town, and I'll be showing a few of the outcomes of that project. Then also, so after my PhD was about water reuse. How do we use stormwater? Because South Africa, or Southern Africa, it's a water scarce country, or scarce region. So we're thinking of how do we use storm, because we experience floods, but also droughts. How do we use stormwater for water supply? And in this particular one, was saying, where do you actually store this water before you reuse it? Are you storing it in the surface or in the ground? So I picked interest in the groundwater component, especially managed aquifer recharge. Then I have a current project on urban cooling, urban heat and urban cooling. How do you leverage remote sensing data using ML and AI to assess how SADs can contribute towards cooling urban areas? So that is one of the part of the project that was out of an event like this, where we're introduced to IoT. And so we were able to monitor groundwater in Cape Town using sensors and programming using Python, and essentially transferring information to the cloud and live streaming it for purposes of making decisions almost instantly. Then there was another project on grey water. This was a student project as well. Essentially, if you're to reuse grey water, you want to understand almost in real time what the quality is to make a decision for what you're going to use that water for. It's about fit for purpose. At certain moments, what's the quality of the water and what can you use it for? And that's one other project, a student project there on grey water using IoT. Then the one on managed aquifer recharge, storage of stormwater. Where do you store the stormwater? And we identified one of the stormwater ponds, which is a SADS. And the way it works, as you can see, the stormwater coming into a pond, but then you have several levels of infiltration using what they call swells, and essentially modeling or retrofitting a real stormwater pond like that, and see how you are able to actually store stormwater in an urban area. This was a PhD project. And we actually went into a neighborhood and retrofitted a specific pond, and also instrumented it to essentially see how does this stormwater pond in fact operate in terms of recharging stormwater. As you can see now, that's the pond in action. Now, as I remember, there are 3 levels of infiltration with swells, essentially to see at what level does it infiltrate the most, and what are the water quality parameters able to control for as you infiltrate this water into the ground. And then there's the last project I'm working on currently is about using SADS. So SADS is your detention ponds and wetlands in the urban area. How can they contribute towards urban cooling? And this was in fact a project. This initial images here from a student I co-supervised, a IUPWARE student in 2022. We produced some of these images to see where are the SADs, what are the temperatures like around those SADs during the day and during the night. And as you can see, on a large scale, the temperatures from Sentinel were quite off, so we don't trust this data yet at this scale, because Sentinel, those pixels about 10 by 10. So at a large scale, we're getting poor results. But when you zoom into much smaller scales, the temperatures begin to make sense. So this information we got from Sentinel. So what we're going to do in the project now, we bought a drone, and we're going to do thermal mapping of this area to try and ground truth what we're getting from the Sentinel satellites. We did a similar project on our campus. That is our campus to the left. Several campuses, the upper, middle, and lower campuses, to see how the temperature profile on that campus. And this is Landsat as well. As you can see, the image is still not clear, but we're able to detect what the temperatures look like. But we shall also do a thermal mapping for the campus as well to ground truth, essentially to compare what you are getting from the satellites, what you're getting from the drones. Then you have IoT sensors also to ground truth. So we have a combination of those sources of data. That's why the talk from Paul this morning about improving this information using machine learning and AI is quite interesting. And I'm definitely going to be following up on that. Thank you.
So we are moving to another presentation. No. You're, I think. Diversity mix. So, and also topic mix, because we had already nice examples of academic careers and going in PhD and ending up in universities, but there are many other options, and we get a very nice example of Euphemia, who started her own company. So I think that's very exciting. So you can start as soon as they upload the presentation.
Hi guys, can we stretch a bit as we wait for the presentation? I feel like we are tired in a way. We can stretch a bit, so that we can be fresh for the next presentations, yeah? Thank you. Is the one written Euphemia? Yeah. Okay.
No, I don't see it often. But I told you I heard this back. I know, and I probably shouldn't want this so bad. It's waiting on me. Don't wanna wake up in the morning. Can I undo what we did in this bed?
Okay, I can see it's up. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here, to be able to share the story. And it wouldn't have been possible if it were not for IUPWARE, in collaboration with IUPWARE is VUB, Leuven, and Villiers in at large. So I didn't have a structure. I think next time now I've seen the flow. I'll have a few pictures here and there of the IUPWARE journey. There are so many. I'll have to choose one or two. So I want to present a baby. Let me just use the other microphone. I can move around. Thank you. Let me introduce to you a new baby on the block, thanks to IUPWARE. And this baby is known as IUPWARE Solutions. My name is Euphemia Kerubo Kingerechi from Kenya, and I'm the founder of IUPWARE Solutions. I don't work alone. We have a team, and you can see some photos there that I'm alone. So I'm the face of the company, but behind me, we are a team. We are massive. Thank you. Next slide. So IUPWARE Solutions is a humanitarian consulting firm, whereby we are dedicated to deliver innovative solutions in the fields of water, agriculture, and environment. So water cannot exist on its own. It has a nexus between the water, environment, and agriculture, and that's where we engineer the solutions in. our motto is transforming water, agriculture, and environment for a sustainable future. Then the vision is to be a global leader in delivering cutting-edge solutions in those sectors, and also driving positive change in communities and ecosystems. Then our mission is to provide the humanitarian consultancy and innovative services in the sectors, the three sectors, and also not forgetting long-term sustainability, such that whatever we do will be of benefit to the present and the future generations. So our core values is excellence, empowerment. You'll see somewhere that I will talk about women empowerment, social responsibility, human-centric approach. We also have collaboration, that's why we're also here, innovation, integrity, and sustainability. So our expertise, this could not have been possible because as you look at the areas of expertise in water, it's all IUPWARE written all over it. You can see IWRM, hydrological modeling, river modeling, all that, name it. So we deliver or rather provide expert consultancy for any project within the entire water circuit. Then under environment, our expertise is also into enhancing innovative solutions and sustainable practices in environment. And you can see there's climate change, resilience and adaptation, vulnerability assessment. We also have nature-based solutions, EIA, SCA and all that, and renewable energy, environmental engineering, you can name all of them. Then agriculture, not forgetting the core where we eat. Climate smart agriculture is there. We have post-harvest management and agro-processing, precision farming techniques, greenhouse design, and sustainable agricultural mechanization. So we also have capacity building in those three sectors, or rather three domains. So we offer skills through capacity building, and you'll see technical skills and technical support. We've supported governments, and you'll see in the next slides. So immediately after Belgium, this was our first project. We were approached by the Mombasa County government in Kenya, whereby they needed some capacity building in GIS, that is geographic information systems. So we started from the basics of GIS, whereby we were able to show them, first of all, how to download the GIS itself, install it, which versions to use and all that, which are more stable. Then up to stability mapping, whereby they were able to map the value chains for their county and to see where they will be most suitable. In that, they'll be able to inform policy and minimize and maximize on the resources available. Then CapNet UNDP and Water Capacity Network approached us, and we did capacity building for them. That's just prior to the flood in 2023. There was a flood. So just prior to the flood, 2023, 2024, we did capacity building, and it was a global audience. And there's also a French translation. So it was in flood and catchment-based livelihood enterprises. So we first of all started with the basics of what is a flood, why do floods happen, and then we also mentioned about the deep sea framework. You remember Professor Guido? I think most of you have done deep sea framework with him. We went through the deep sea framework, the drivers, the pressures and all that, and to flood preparations and all that. So we prepared 4 modules for this course. And for those people who are living in areas that are catchment, they are flood prone, how could they practice livelihoods that will be able to be sustainable for them in such areas? How could they handle that? And how could they be able to maneuver through that situation? So that was another project that we did, and it was online, global. Then last year, 2024, we were also part of the national roadmap for scaling up adaptation, climate adaptation, and investments in resilient infrastructure. That is by Global Center on Adaptation, Netherlands, and in collaboration with the University of Nairobi. So we were part of this development of the national roadmap, And there were 4 sectors involved, whereby there's water, energy, ICT, and transport. And AquaWise was more vocal in matters water sector for this roadmap and in matters gender. And next week, or the other week on 19th March, we'll be able to disseminate this information and to prepare it for public use. And it will be used by the Parliament of Kenya. Then, after the workshop, there was a soft launch for the national roadmap. That was for doubling down on climate adaptation in Africa. It was co-hosted by the GCA, which was part of the project, the African Development Bank, and also the African Union. So I was able to talk about a bit of how water intersects and how water and gender intersects, because that was our key domain in the national roadmap. You can also see the second image if you're familiar with the faces. There are people from Sweden, there are some government officials, PSAs just above me, and then below you can see me there, and I had 2 of my colleagues. Then you can see the last image, Africa Partners Deliver, I can't see well, but you can see what's written there, Africa Partners Delivering Adaptation. So we were partnering to deliver adaptation in Africa. Next, GCA called us again to be part of a panel discussion in the Climate Change Makers School that happened in Nairobi. And in the panel discussion, I was able to bring out nature-based solution as a way of sustainable solution in terms of climate resilience. Yes, then we go to the next slide, which is the most recent one. AquaWise was also part of a team of global think tanks that were able to sit down and develop soil initiative for Africa, whereby we are looking at the economics of soil degradation, and there's a focus of redeeming 30% of degraded soils in Africa in the next 10 years. So we are brought on board to bring value in matters soil initiative for Africa, and we were vocal in matters, first of all, looking at the economic aspect, the cost-benefit analysis of taking a risk, an action or not taking it. We were also vocal in the nature-based solution sector, whereby it was a multifaceted approach to help in this initiative. And thirdly, we brought on board the monitoring and evaluation aspect as we monitor the progress of redeeming the land degradation. So that team is by FARA, which is Forum by Agricultural Research in Africa. So FARA, in conjunction with the University of Nairobi, FARA is the technical arm of the AU, and it deals with matters agriculture and innovation and technology for the AU, and its headquarters is in Accra, Ghana. Then these were part of the capacity building. We also were called back to do capacity building in climate smart agriculture in conjunction with climate resilient indigenous chicken training. How can you make a livestock to also be climate resilient, the structures and all that, the greenhouse concept? We also did that capacity building for Mombasa and Kilifi County. Then finally, I think this is the last slide for our portfolio. We are part of Women in Action initiatives. That is University of Reading in collaboration with University of Nairobi, whereby we were talking about the bringing about solutions for the barriers that hinder women to be involved in the decision-making table in terms of climate change. Then, apart from AquaWise, which we are a team, I had mentioned, I've done consultancy after Belgium at an individual capacity. So I conducted remote sensing-based feasibility assessment and rapid hydrological assessment for potential rainwater harvesting sites in the ASALs of Kenya. That was under ICRAF. It was funded by the UNEP. Then secondly, another project I did on my own was climate vulnerability assessment for Bomet County. I also did WASH, designed and implemented critical water supply systems in Turkana and West Pokot under World Vision Kenya. And I also developed innovative products and services to enhance water productivity in water-scarce regions. It was by Association of Irrigation Acceleration Program in collaboration with ILIF and Metameta from Netherlands. And lastly is a call for collaboration. As you have seen, Aquarise has so much to offer, but it cannot go far if it's not working hand in hand with others. So collaboration is of essence and of value. So it will help in expanding Aquarius' social impact in Kenya and Africa at large. It will also help in developing sustainable water solution models and also environmental solutions and agricultural solutions. And it will also help in strengthening research and policy influence. You can see some of the work that we've done also cuts across policy. So we are not only confined in the models bit, but we're also in policy and research. And when we collaborate, we can bring on board other institutions like the University of Nairobi, whom you've seen we've worked with, so that we can be able to progress the impact of the North-South collaboration. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for scholarship at large. I would have been here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that was also very nice story of an alumnus going more in the private sector, but working, of course, very much in the with public projects and making the link with many international initiatives. Very nice. Thank you. So can I invite Dr. Winfred Mulu to close the session with his story? Was there a name in your? I saw it already there. I think there.
Good afternoon once again. Mine will be short. There's no proper format like everybody else said, but I just wanted also to highlight some issues, the experiences from Belgium, elsewhere, and what we are doing right now. But will be in a nutshell. So, like I said earlier in my introduction, I was part of the 2008-2010 class, graduated from IUPWARE, and returned back home. But all the time, I'm very much motivated by this saying when I talk about water. As much as we all want to be loved and to make sure that we are loved, but others have survived without being loved, but none of them has ever survived without water. And that is a line in a poem by W.H. Auden from 1845 in the poem called First Things First. But also in the interest of collaboration, I always consider these guys who migrate from Masai Mara to the Serengeti and back with all the struggles they go through. But we are reminded that if you want to go fast, you better go alone. And this one is taking that, but also you are not going to go far. So if you want to go far, go together. There's an African proverb from a wise man or woman who lived, and we also all experience all this in our lives. So like I said, I was in the 2008-2010, and we enjoyed the life like my colleagues. I didn't want to say what we sampled, I just say drinks. All the brands from the monks, and we lived in Leuven, where the HQ of the Stella Artois and all the others. So I wasn't much of a drinker, but I would always just taste any new that I have not seen before. But rather, at the end, I didn't know which one I liked. So it opened a window of opportunities. I wouldn't go into a lot of details, but at that time, like also John and also Paul was saying, modeling was the game changer, and we all went into wet pass, SWAT, and all the mod flow and others, and then that became a very important part of our lives, our professional lives. So solving problems was critical, and we all know that the problems come, and always new problems. Maybe old problems can come, but you also have new problems. But if you have the skills, you always go and be able to solve. So we also enjoyed being at the center of Europe. We could go anywhere, anytime, seamless. So we want to go to the Netherlands, easy, go to Paris, easy, and everything. So that's part of what we enjoyed a lot. So I went back home. This is where my university, just one of the buildings. So apart from being an academic, we also do a lot of research. So I was involved in two of the selected researches here. But then in 2012, I took another leap of faith to go to pursue a PhD in the US from 2012 to 2016 when I graduated, and this is where the Virginia Tech, there's this famous building, so I'm standing in front of that building. So a lot of research, not maybe a lot, but we have conducted some research in collaboration with people who are here and also others. But also collaboration has always been a key. We also did like their own, we had this funded by UNEP, Sustainable Catchment Management, but we very much focused on environmental flow assessments. And also with this, we did also a regional capacity building for West Indian Ocean countries, like 9 countries. So we did that training in Tanzania, and also many other where. So, but consultancy, from time to time, I'm being part of the team or team leader. One of the notable assignments that I can say is participated, like I was the team leader in the newly inaugurated, it's not inaugurated yet, but the Julius Nyerere hydropower dam, the largest hydropower dam. So these guys, after blocking and the powerhouse, they released, so they wanted to check the baseline. So we monitored that for the whole year, and I was with my team here. We used the ADCP and other equipment. And this is Rufiji River, one of the largest rivers. So you don't really go easily here. You go downstream through a park, a national park, then you take a boat going upstream to take measurements, and sometimes you find crocs and whatever wild animal lives in the jungle, but we always had somebody, safety first, we had somebody from the park with us, but it wasn't that easy. But also worked with organizations like the USAID Tanzania, the USAID, so we did like water sector assessment for Tanzania to inform them in their next plan. So I was part of this team, and the report is online. We also did another evaluation of the former project, the water sector development program phase 2, and also carried a lot of these assessments for different. So from the Rufiji Delta in the mangrove, seeing one somewhere there in the boat, to the capacity building, and also all these assignments. I've just selected few here. But we don't only consider ourselves, so we are also part of the ecosystem. So there are these guys here, they all also face a lot of water problems, be it from the scarcity, quality, and also, so you see the human impacts on this, the water illegal water abstractions actually. So they had a project around the Katavi in the western part of the country, even right now working on this baseline study for that. The part of the GIZ, they have a project there. And also we are doing with the WWF in the Ndembera catchment. So this area alone has around 10 irrigation schemes. And then you see the abstraction, so we are looking into the availability and also risks, and be able to identify opportunities for water stewardship in this area. But one of the things that I am not say proud of, but I'm happy I'm part of it, is the modernization of the hydrological monitoring. So as part of the consultancy, we had this project in the Nile Basin. So this I just take an extract from the Nile Basin Initiative. So they have done like 43 stations around the Nile Basin. And then we had 8 hydrological stations in Tanzania as part of our assignment in the consultancy. We did the civil works plus the installation of everything, and then handed it over to them. But we are happy that we delivered to the satisfaction of the client and to me as a professional as well. So when we say about ML, we talk about AI, we have to understand first our systems, and the data is very, very critical. But also right now I'm involved in a major, the whole the Tanzania in general is modernizing all its monitoring stations in Tanzania. So we have the 9 river basins in Tanzania. So it has never happened before, but right now we are modernizing all the stations. So in these stations, from weather, groundwater, river flow, rainfall, even the evaporation and everything. So we are doing all these. So this work is done by Saber Hydrometry from Germany, but we are doing the civil works and the installation, and to make sure that whatever is done. So they are only producing the equipment, but we are also fabricating all these locally, and we are building all the infrastructure and installing them. And at the end of the day, we want to have this, not only having the local observer, but also having that transferred to the HQ of the basin, and we also have the national HQ. So the data is always there at that, we have that landscape of data availability, and also training to the basin staff, which we are conducting. So I'm sure in some years to come, even if we want to do a national, I was talking to Paul, a national remote sensing, whatever we want to do, we'll have the data, at least in some cases at a very fine scale. And this will be available. I hope the at least I could access, but the data sharing, I think, would be possible to get for researchers to be able to do that. Yeah, that very much. I would want to say that collaboration is critical. So this helps us to leverage our resources, maybe use less resources or minimum resources, and also the diversity in our multidisciplinary, because you might also venture in the same, from IUPWARE somebody went into urban hydraulics and somebody went into remote sensing. You might meet together and come up into something, but also you also have to collaborate with other colleagues, and this has worked very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think with this we close our presentation session of alumni and their stories. I think they were very nice. I think we will have now a break, and we have also a number of students with still some work to be done. So yeah, so we are now closing this session. But thank you all. Maybe we can still go for a picture quickly. Group picture? Yeah, okay.
Policies and capacity building and research that is being done and publications, the ranking of the university has been improving over the years. And for the first time, I think about 4 or 5 years ago, Kyambogo University was ranked among the top 200 universities in Africa. I think we are now ranked about 171 among the universities in Africa. And in Uganda, we are still ranked number 4. Another area we have focused on is physical infrastructure and ICT development. If you move around, I'm sure you will see a number of new buildings that have come up in the university. We are lucky that we benefited from HEST